All right, so everyone, good morning. This is Cassandra Williamson, the Executive Director for Transgender Diverse Veterans of America. And this is our Action Group program, okay? This is Action News at noon Eastern every weekday. But the big news for the day is obviously the atrocities that occurred up in Maine. And oh my gosh, 18 people dead at this point. The shooter still not captured, left his car by a river apparently. And that's what we know at this point. We know that he had been in and out of mental health awards. He is an Army reservist, I believe, at this point. I think that's what I read earlier. Obviously, definitely in need of some help. At this point, it's just too late. You killed a bunch of people. I get it. So let me get my other glasses on because I can't really see see what I'm looking at here. Okay, that's better. Frizzy head again. Jeez. From down here in lower Alabama, I guess that's the case, huh? Well, just got out of the shower too. That kind of helps. But anyway, so there we are. We are definitely live again. We're live on, let me see, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and 2 different channels on YouTube, as well as Twitch and Twitter. So yeah, we've got a lot going on today. The biggest news, obviously, is what's happening up in Maine, and just so sad for all the entire community up there in the entire state of Maine and all the friends we have in Maine, and many people we don't know, obviously, but we do have a lot of friends up in Maine. And we do have some good friends right there in Lewiston where this occurred. I'm yet to hear back from them. I sent a text message earlier this morning. I wanted to check on them, make sure they were all right. She and her family live up there. And in that community, if I'm not mistaken, or right near there. So anyway, we just wanted to make sure that everybody's all right and checking in. I have not yet heard back from our friend up in Maine, and if I'm pretty sure they're not taking the time to watch this either. So as soon as I hear back and know that they're all right, because I know they have children, I know they have things going on up there. I know the shooting took place at a bowling alley where they were featuring some kids, I believe, and at a bar. I'm not sure if there's anything else, but 18 people dead up in Maine. It's the most horrifying thing any person could ever experience, is to lose someone like that. Lose someone, period. But in those circumstances, definitely. Yes. So that should be our only focus at this point. There should be no other conversations around all these other things that people want to say anytime anything like this happens. Right now, we need to be focused on taking care of the families who have lost loved ones. That is the only focus. I'm not talking about anything else at this point around that topic, okay? Because right now that community is grieving. They don't need a bunch of talking heads somewhere telling them what they should or should not have been doing, or trying to tear it all apart and then tear everybody else apart. I just read something a minute ago from Charlie Kirk, who I follow, Charlie Kirk, on Twitter. And he raised the questions about, what medicines was this person on? Why was he released? And under what conditions or circumstances, and then were applicable laws broken that already are there? Were they not enforced properly or something? There's all kinds of questions around it. So we need to make sure those questions are answered. And Kirk's right in that case. So anyway, lots of stuff going on, as I said before. That's the biggest news. And the most troubling part of today is to come out and say that there's been such a mass shooting such as this, that had and he was using it looked like an AR-15 style rifle with had a scope on it. It looked like, somebody told me that. I saw it too. It looked like it might have been a scope on there, but he wasn't necessarily using the scope. But if it had the other technology, the red dot, then the laser, then all you have to do is point the laser, and that's where the bullet goes. You don't even have to bother looking down through the scope. Just see where the dot's at. But it's horrific, and those people are suffering up there right now. We want to extend out to our friends and family and our members up there in Lewiston, Maine. We're here. Call us, talk with us, let us know that you're all right, and let us know if we can do anything to help. Having said that, let's jump on over into bringing you up to date on some other news around the country and the world. So you got a lot of things to cover. The first thing is, rather than just jumping over there, I'm going to go, ooh. That's primarily what I'm going to try to do, is start out with a bunch of news stories and things as soon as I get rid of that screen and go up to present Another one. How's that? We're going to present another screen. Go here, and I'm going to go to that window and go right there. Share. All right, the first one, let me go see if there's anything up here about this. Okay. Gaza's stubborn facts. Okay. There was something in here that I had highlighted, I do think. Anyway, there was something in there that I had highlighted. I thought maybe it was on something else. Anyway, so yeah, they're talking about Gaza, and this author, this is from, by the way, let me give proper credit, The Hill. It's an opinion piece written by Dr. Stephen Blank, opinion contributor who has worked with a lot of strategic organizations and stuff like that, and particularly even at the war colleges and things as well. He's taught these things there. He's kind of familiar with it. Okay, he knows his stuff. So anyway, yeah, this is a very stubborn situation, as he states in the title. Gaza's stubborn facts must be confronted. And yeah, those facts must be confronted. But at the same time, you have to realize that if you want to actually resolve the issue, you have to get rid of the darn terrorist organization that's the one causing it, who are actually the ones oppressing the people in Gaza, oppressing the Palestinians. That's Hamas, folks. That's Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and it's in their charter, and that's what I was looking for. There was something in their charter. I wanted to read it. Let me go on down here. Dun, 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 la, 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 la. Okay. Well, I know it's down in here somewhere. I just saw it not long ago. Where is it? Okay. Anyway, they talk about this. They talk about that in their charter that they actually wrote in 1988. They talk about that there's only one objective that they have in mind, and that's the complete destruction and deletion and erasure of Israel and Israelis and Jewish people. So that's what their focus is. That's exactly what it is, and they're going at any means to make that happen. And it's coming to them from their long generational hatred for Jewish people. And regardless of what you might want to do or say about that, to support Hamas is to support a terrorist organization, no matter how you slice, dice, or cut that. If you're supporting them and you think it's some kind of, apartheid or colonialism or settler colonialism and stuff like that, all those terms to give you kind of an academic sense of things, the reality is, folks, that Hamas is a terrorist organization. They occupy Gaza and control the Palestinian people, and they have a goal in mind, and that's the destruction of Israel. And Israel has every right in the world to use disproportionate force to stop them. It does not have to be proportional. I mean, if you're saying that this needs to be proportional, eye for an eye kind of thing like that, one for one, well, you don't understand how warfare actually works, folks. You don't understand how you actually resolve an issue like this from a terrorist organization. You have to use overwhelming superiority and eliminate them. And that's Hamas. You've got to wipe Hamas off the face of the earth, folks. They're a terrorist group. And then let the Palestinian people live their lives in freedom. And now make a two-state solution is a great idea right there. Let them have that. They'll be able to prosper and succeed and survive if you get rid of Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and the Iranian influence that's taking place and directing all that stuff right now in Gaza. Got it? And that's as straightforward as you can get about it. I mean, if you go back to 1947, the creation of Israel, and everybody was all up in arms about that in the Middle East because, they didn't want Israel to have their own land. All these people have their own land, even though, it depends on who you talk to. If you go back 100 years, who own the land? If you go back 150 years, who own the land? If you go back 1,000, who own the land? Does not matter. They're there now, and they've been there. They've actually had possession of this land on and off for several millenniums. Yeah, a long time, on and off, back and forth. But Hamas is a terrorist organization. It's got to be removed. It's just like whenever Al-Qaeda and ISIS and all those terrorist organizations, we were trying to get rid of them here in the United States because, they came over here and they destroyed and killed a bunch of people. And we had a call to arms of not only our population, but our friends and allies around the world. And their objective was to eliminate and destroy the Taliban and all those kind of things, all those terrorist groups from all around the world. That was the whole idea. And that's what we tried to do. Won in some cases and lost in others. But nonetheless, the goal was to eliminate that, because you cannot have people threatening your livelihoods and your lives and your people and your countries and your borders simply because they don't want you to be around, or they don't like you, or they think you're the infidels. Sorry. Bunch of crap, folks. Bunch of crap. And by the way, if you are watching this and you're under 18 years of age, leave this site now. Whatever platform you're watching on, leave now. It's not for you. And also, the opinions expressed here are mine and mine alone. Do not necessarily reflect those of any organization that I might represent, any agency, department, in the government or elsewhere, whatever. My opinions are mine and mine alone. And so we'll stick with that, and then, go from there. So that's what we're looking at. This is the first story. This was Gaza. Let me go over to now the next one on my list. Well, first is up here, breaking news: 27 dead after Hurricane Otis delivers catastrophic damage as a Category 5 storm. Okay. Ukraine smashes through Russia's dragon teeth defenses in a tactical shift, but winter is coming. Yes, this is a story on the net worth of, and by them, 2 hours ago. I'm reading this and looking at this from my Microsoft Bing news feed. Okay. I'm not going to go delving down into that one. That's a back and forth thing. We need to be supporting Ukraine in their fight to protect their people and their borders too, regardless of the ideologies involved, regardless of whatever's going on and wherever it might be. Even if it meant you can't really say, okay, but if this is the case, we have to put more there. But these are two nations, Israel and Ukraine, trying to protect themselves from aggressors. Regardless of how you look at that, regardless of whether you think that that's going to be sweeping through our own country and potentially damaging here, we need to deal with that right there. We can do both, folks, rather than just doing one or the other, or trying to stop one and do the other, or whatever. We can do both. Do both. Both regions of the world are hotspots and have proven long term that they are tinderboxes waiting just to explode. Okay. In Ukraine, in Eastern Europe, and Western Russia, and that whole region right in there. It's always been a hot tinderbox of ready just to explode and ignite a world on fire. And the same thing is possible down in Israel if they don't stomp out Hamas. Now, what's the U.S. role in all of this? Well, one, we have to ensure that Iran doesn't try to influence this in any way. They're already trying. Iran's already trying that. We know that. They're the ones who are stirring up all of this pro-Palestinian or pro-Hamas protesting in the United States even. I mean, they're the ones behind. You can go chase the money down. Go, Iran's behind it. Or at least, you know that the Iranian president is behind it, as well as the Revolutionary Guard, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. I'm not talking about the Iranian people. I'm talking about the ideologues who are running the country. And that's the distinction that we have to make sure of, that we draw that distinction, because there are good people in Iran. They just aren't in government. No. There are good people in Palestine, but Hamas is not one of them. Come on. You got to be able to see those kind of distinctions. There's a lot of nuances here, but we can see that, the thinking that comes out of Hamas, they are experts in social media, folks, experts in it. They're dragging us along and trying to get us to see all the atrocities that Israel is committing against their civilian population. But here's the thing: Hamas puts the civilians in the line of fire. So, wow, really? Yes, they do. And really, for Hamas, with their 1988 charter and their commitment to destroying Israel, the Palestinian people are nothing but pawns in their game. That's all it is. And that's the same thing, by the way, of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard in Iran. The Iranian people, the good people in Iran, are the pawns being used to further an ideology of destruction of another group of people simply because they think they'll get brownie points with God if they wipe out Israel. That's what it is. But you know something? That same kind of thinking, the same kind of thinking, with different names, different people, different contexts, and different countries even, when another group of people want to erase and delete another group of human beings simply because they don't like who they are, remove words that define who they are from everything in the whole of government, you're no different than Hamas. You are absolutely no different than Hamas because the end result is the same thing. And this kind of generational stuff is, I mean, it's been here too with Christian nationalism in the United States. One generation after another, they've been teaching their people and teaching their kids hatred towards people who are different. In any way. I mean, if you, everybody has a sexual orientation, everyone has a gender identity. Everyone does. I don't care how much you dislike those words. Everyone has one. But if you want to remove those words from the whole of federal government, across all of government, really, across states and all, you're in the United States, you are doing the exact same stuff that Hamas is trying to do to Israel. You've dehumanized a group of people. You've made them the object of all your enmity. You're going after them to remove and erase them, and you don't want them to be seen in public. I mean, what's the difference? You think that just because you're going after ideas and after words that you don't like, that's any different than actually trying to destroy Israel or remove them from the face of the earth? It's only one step difference between the two. Only one step. You know what the difference is? Hamas is actually killing people because they disagree with them so much. Oh, wait now. So if we continue this line of thinking here in the United States with this kind of deep anger and hatred towards LGBTQ plus people, or diversity, equity, inclusion, or reproductive rights, and all these things that you just don't like. And I'm talking to Mike Johnson, by the way. I think that's his name, isn't it? The new Speaker of the House. That man's a Christian nationalist, folks. Very clearly has stated such in terms of all of his beliefs and all his ideologies. That man is dangerous. Dangerous to us. I mean, oh yeah, I mean, he is definitely in the pocket of the far right, because you know how many people supported him and voted for him? 220. And all they needed was 217. So, I mean, that obviously fills all the little notches and the little check boxes that Matt Gaetz and all of his radicals want. You know, the 8 radicals over there that got rid of the previous speaker. Can't think of the name right off. But I'm old enough to be able to blame it on the white hair. But anyway, so I mean, we've got the same kind of thinking that can lead to the same kind of stuff. And you think the Constitution does protections for that? And it actually protects us here in the United States from those kind of behaviors? It does not. Because all you have to do is read the forward to their Project 2025, and you can see and detect the militancy that is there, the Christian militancy that is there. It's there, folks. Very plain. And they tell you the words they want to remove. But out here in the outside world, out here looking around and all this kind of stuff, whenever somebody says we want to, you don't want to censor this or censor that, but you got people wanting to ban books. You got people who wanting to censor words. You got the governor of Arkansas eliminating words that she didn't like. I mean, it's a playbook right out of Project 2025. It's a narrative that they have been putting out there, and these people have been falling right in line with it. I mean, across the board, from their media sources that they control or manipulate to their elected officials that they have talked into coming and being a part of it. Heritage Foundation, who started the Project 2025 thing, has been around for 50 years. They are not, and who we have today with the Heritage Foundation, that is, they are not your grandmother's Heritage Foundation, folks. There was a sense of respectability about them in the past. Now they've become militant and extremist. But yet they've got I don't know, 400 contributors to the darn Project 2025 thing, put $22 million in toward that thing, and also got, last count, 75 other conservative thinking and Republican leaning organizations to support this. And they're serious about it. It's a dangerous prospect for that. And I got off onto that somehow or the other. I don't know. Winter's coming, I guess. Pennsylvania, let me see. Pennsylvania principals threaten to punish students protesting transgender bathroom policy. One is let them protest. Oh my God, let them protest. Don't make a big stink about it, and then just do what you need to do. Do what's right. Do the moral thing, all right, and let people be people. I've had this conversation over on Twitter a number of times in the past several days, especially on the far right. Well, not just Twitter, even. It's been over on a lot of other stuff. And I'm going to show you something in a minute, too. But anyway, so it's like, let people, do you know what is so critically important about, I don't know, what is it? Mardi Gras down in New Orleans? Nolans? Let's get it right. Nolans. You know what's important about that? It lets people kind of release and kind of get away, and that way they can get all of that energy out right there, and they don't have to worry about it the rest of the year round. That's an old scientific or science fiction trope that was actually used too. But anyway, that's the kind of thing. You just let them do their thing. Don't be afraid of it. Let them have their say. Don't punish them for protesting. Even though I disagree with these bans on these transgender bathroom bans, I disagree with them vehemently, because I know how important it is to actually live authentically and live as yourself. And that I also know that the problems within these bathrooms and in these places aren't coming from the trans people. It's coming from, well, not for the most part. There might be one or two out there out of a million, but it's not coming from them. It's coming from those who object to it outside of the old environment. I mean, there might be some kids in there who object to it. Sure, the transgender kids too actually need to feel safe and accepted. It's not just that one student who is throwing a fit. I'm talking about Riley Gaines. Oh, anyway, so let them protest and don't punish them for it. But at the same time, when transgender people or LGBT people decide they want to protest too in support of these things, let them do it too. I need to get a drink. Hold on. I mean, the easiest thing in the world to do is to not be fearful of opposition. Not run from it. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't stick your head in the sand and try to pretend it's not there. Just let it have its say, folks. It actually works out. If you just let it have its say, it'll work out. It will work out as long as it's not violent. When it gets to the violent stage, then, that's when you need to be prepared to stop it. But these kids aren't going to get violent, are they? Not likely, unless their parents instigate them to do it. Anyway, so that's one story. Let me go on to this other one. Oh, this is from Campus Radicals. The story is, this is the one I'd highlighted and actually looked at. Let me see. This is from the Wall Street Journal. It's an opinion piece written 5 hours ago. It's called Campus Radicals and Leftist Groups Have Embraced the Deadly Idea of Settler Colonialism. Well, something, you're throwing out thyese words out here that everyday Americans have no freaking idea what you're talking about. When you use stuff like that and you're trying to make yourself sound like that you're just trying to destroy words that you really have no freaking clue about. And for the most part, those people using them don't either. They really have no clue. But I will say this, as I just said a minute ago, with the students protesting in schools over transgender policy. Let these people have their say. Let them be heard. Don't be offended by it. Let them have their say, and just, they're not, as long as they're not violent, as long as they're not promoting violence. And Hamas is a terrorist organization. If you support Hamas, well, you actually, you've got another problem entirely. But if you're supporting the Palestinian people who are opposed to Hamas, then yeah, But violence is not the way to go, folks. So let these people have their say. These leftist groups or rightist groups, whatever, whichever side you're on, you have that right to freely express yourself as long as it doesn't bring harm on someone else, period. And as I said yesterday during one of the shows, that if you think that free speech is an absolute right, well, you're dead wrong. Because there are no such things as absolute rights, and there's no guarantee that you'll have an absolute right, because it's the government that we institute above us that actually over us or around us or helping us live our lives freely. It's the government that decides what rights are actually applicable, folks. It doesn't mean you have no. That's a whole nother topic. I just chased a squirrel in my head. I was going to go down the road of natural rights and all that kind of stuff. That's BS. The only right that you have, well, I'm trying to figure out which one you actually have a say in. None. You may think you do, and you may think you have earned those rights, but I'm going to tell you, it can be challenged by the next Congress or the next legislature. Whatever. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, yeah. All right. So I actually pulled out this quote down through here. I highlighted a second ago. This is from, let me see, Western Sympathizers. When Western sympathizers excuse or endorse the action of Hamas, it is because they see it in these terms, as a liberation movement fighting a settler colonial regime. And if they see it in those terms, they're very myopic. Their way of viewing the world is myopic. It's very narrow. It's very constrained and confined, and they neglect the entire history of what's going on there. They neglect those things. They neglect the fact that Hamas actually wants to destroy Israel. It's not that they are trying to be, some people in these protest movements in support of Hamas are saying that they have every right to go out there and defend themselves. No, they don't. Not like that. Not whenever you actually have stated explicitly that you want to destroy another group of people. So let's go down to the one I've got in the big blue box down here. Hamas, this is the group's charter adopted in 1988, declares that only Muslims are indigenous to the land that is now Israel. So Jews can never belong there. The land of Palestine is an Islamic endowment consecrated for future Muslim generations until Judgment Day. Likewise, it states that peaceful solutions are in contradiction to the principles of the Islamic resistance movement, and that there is no solution for the Palestinian question except through jihad. There you go. Charter written in 1988. They were actually, I think they took over control in 2005, 2007 or something like that in Gaza, somewhere around there. And then, they've been using the Palestinian people as cannon fodder ever since. And they've been educating people, too, in this kind of hatred. So you're not going to go in there and just supplant it and replace it and remove it. It's not going to happen that easily, because this is a generational thing, folks. This hatred for the Jewish people is generational. It's been taught. And it goes way back, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years. The hatred for the Jewish people, yeah, it goes way back there. Long way back. This is not something that's relatively new. It's not new at all. It's nowhere near like that. I mean, oh my gosh, it's just crazy to think that anyone would actually say that, hey, we'll get some brownie points if we go out and kill all the Jewish people. That's crazy. It really is. So I'm not even going to bother going through all the rest of this stuff, because, that's kind of esoteric. All right. Now, here's the changing topic, another news item this morning. Well, actually 10 hours ago. I guess that would be, probably about, 2:30 in the morning. Benzinga News or whatever, BZ, Benzinga Neuro. Story about Benzinga Neuro. I don't know who that is. I don't know. Benzinga has 16,000 followers, almost 17,000 followers. So this story popped up on their feed. Elon Musk reacts to new House Speaker Mike Johnson's Twitter censorship comment. It's extremely concerning. What did Mike Johnson say? You ask? Okay, here we go. And actually, rather than just reading their commentary on this, we'll go right down here and take a look at it. This takes us to Twitter. You can actually see it. I hope you can still see the screen from Twitter. Okay, so Elon Musk wrote, extremely concerning. And what he did was he reposted something that someone else had put on there, Kanokia the Great. And it really disturbs me when people use fake names and fake profiles and stuff like that, because to me, you're just hiding behind something. I mean, you don't have the guts to actually be real. And you're saying, but I have good reasons. But you expect me to say, you want me to listen to you tell me that I'm not real, but everything about me you can see clearly. But you're hiding behind some fake name and a stupid avatar. Okay. All right. I had that conversation too, somebody on Twitter. Anyway, so this is what this was posted 22 hours ago. Representative Mike Johnson says the federal government, let me see if I can increase the size slightly. That's going down too small. Okay. Says the federal government used Twitter to censor American speech. Twitter was basically an FBI subsidiary before Elon Musk took it over. The Twitter files should be a matter of bipartisan concern for every member of Congress and every American citizen, because it is a bedrock principle of the Constitution that the government does not get to decide what speech is acceptable or true. That's true. That's a true statement. The government does not get to decide that, except in, and here we go back, there are exceptions to this because there are no absolute rights. No such thing as an absolute right, folks. You know what I'm going to go, do you know what I'm getting ready to say? Anyone? Any idea? Okay, well, here we go. What speech is acceptable or true? It's more than that. It is far more than that. That is a deliberate twisting of actually what free speech is about. Because and those are two fine points too. You're going to have to define what is true and what is acceptable. For instance, is it acceptable? Is it acceptable to walk into a theater and yell fire or bomb? Is it acceptable to walk onto a train to get a ride on the train or the subway or whatever and then yell fire or bomb? Is it acceptable to do that on an airplane? No, it is not. Why? Because it creates panic and fear, and it creates the impression that there's something bad getting ready to happen that a lot of the people there in those spaces may not necessarily be able to control, and it will cause panic. So no, you cannot. You have to define what acceptable is. So if you're going onto Twitter and you're yelling "House on fire," and you're doing all of this stuff and you're out there saying, we're going to go bomb the White House or whatever like that, if you're going to say stuff like that, well, guess what? We have every right to be concerned about you and then come to look and check. Because if you are that dumb to say stuff like that, well, we need to make sure you don't have the capacity to carry it out. Okay? You can't just say anything you want in a respectable, acceptable, and true manner. You just can't do it. There are limitations. And even Elon Musk has come to that conclusion now, I think. I don't even know if Elon calls himself a free speech absolutist anymore, because he realized that, hey, he was going to not let somebody tell where his plane was at. The person who was tracking the planes, he asked them not to and threatened them and all kinds of stuff. I don't know whatever happened to that. Probably bought them off. But free speech is not an absolute right. Neither is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Even though those are the blessings of liberty that we are out here to pursue, that we all want for ourselves, we all want for Americans, and we want for every citizen in America, there are still limitations to it and still constraints on that for all kinds of different reasons. So, and let me see. And then the person said, voting is currently in progress. It appears Mike Johnson will become the next Speaker of the House. And yes, Mike Johnson is definitely the Speaker of the House, the new Speaker of the House. He has a very long track record of being actually almost violently anti-LGBT, strongly opposed to anything that is against Christianity, because he's a Christian nationalist. He actually thinks that, there is no way to distinguish Christianity or your beliefs and your faith beliefs, from government. He wants that wall, the separation between church and state, actually removed and destroyed. And he works on that. And he's serious about it, folks. Very serious. This young man from Louisiana. So anyway, there was some replies made to it down through here. The Emergent Perspective. I kind of find this funny. The name itself is kind of funny to me. Emergent Perspective. Yeah. Take that meme and roll with it. Okay. Twitter files. And they got this image here. Facebook files, Instagram, blah, 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 whatever. And then obviously they left out X files. Should have put that in there too. CIA files would be best, and on down the line. Beverly Hills MD, Beverly Hills doctor, surgeon shares, we can feel your wrinkles. That's the advertisement. Okay. All right. Whatever. All right. So this person, my opinions, Rockpile GP. Okay. All right. Whatever. Mike Johnson says the federal government used Twitter to censor American speech. Twitter was basically an FBI subsidiary before Elon Musk took it over. Okay. No, not the case. But anyway. All right. Leonard Campagna, freedom equals happiness. Okay. All right. People just posting all kinds of stuff. In a similar vein, this sober Irishman, I thought that was kind of oxymoron. But anyway. Okay, let's go down through here. Okay, go on down. Congress needs to have its own special prosecutors. No, they don't. Why wouldn't the FBIC and law enforcement use X for investigations? Absolutely. I agree with what Anna Marie Eamon said here. Why wouldn't the FBIC and law enforcement use X for investigations? It is a bedrock of information that could help keep this country from another 9/11 catastrophe. Absolutely. Beverly Hills MD again. I commented down in here somewhere. Let me go on down. Let's see if they've taken my comment out. Where did I comment? Well, okay then. I think maybe before 7 hours ago. I'm looking for the comment I left on this page. I'm not in the right place. That explains it. I have to go over to another Twitter feed to look at it. I'll do that in a second. Okay. I'll go look at that in a minute. So we'll do that. And I know what it is because I've got like 3 different Twitter things there. And I was on the wrong one. It wouldn't have had my comment on it. Project 2025, you know what that's all about, destroying anything that doesn't look like them, because it's not white, cishet, and all that. It's just free speech much? All right. So let's stop sharing. I'm going to take that page and drop it down from there and go back over to the other side and share from here. We got some pages up here I want to look at. I'm not going to do the thing with the main shooting right now. We'll check to see if there's any additional news on it. Let me go over here to StreamYard again, and we're going to present from this page on another Twitter account. Share the screen. There. Okay. Now here, all right, so let's see. Now this is the account that I would post things on, the action group side of things, all right? And if I go through here, this is Democrats Hate America, Gunther Eagleman. You're full of shit, son. I follow people like that because, I want to know what they're thinking and how they even come up with that kind of crap. So this person is a political commentator, America First, MAGA, Trump 2024 Unfiltered. Thing is, they've got 439,000 followers. Jeez, y'all. Really, Gunther. Anyway, that's what Gunther says. He says Democrats hate America. All right. Where do you get that? I mean, what? Why do you say stuff like that? No, they don't hate America, folks. They just have a different view of what America should look like. That doesn't make them hate America. That doesn't mean they want anything, right? Even on the right, the far right, over there in the far right ditches, and the far right authoritarian, theocratic, fascist far right side over there on the Republican side, that is something that is antithetical to what America stands for. But yet those people are Americans. The people who are espousing those ideas are just as American as everybody else on the left or the right or whatever. Stop calling them out for not being American enough to suit you. And that's where I got that thing about Charlie Kirk and Michael Brown, Dr. Michael Brown. Okay. Chip Roy calls on us to stop funding the corrupt UN. No, the UN has a place in all of this. We actually helped create the darn thing. Okay. We were one of the motivating forces behind it. All we have to do is just try to make it a little bit better. We need to improve it along the way, but not get rid of it. Don't defund it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So, Adam Kinzinger, let me see. Oh, wait, they're waiting for a presser up there in Lewiston, Maine. Let's see.
Incident like this becomes politicized.
This is,
and that part of it I never
Fox
liked,
News,
because that's not going to bring back lives. And then I always ask,
oh, well, he's already fallen off over into that ditch talking about, guns and all kinds of stuff like that. Right now, you have a community grieving. Stop with all the political posturing and just go take care of the people who are grieving up there, folks. That's really all it's about. Okay. Somebody liked the post that I put out there about employment opportunity. Research participants needed. November's Native Heritage Month, the Project 2025 stuff, actually. And I wrote that, I put out a news press release. It wasn't a press release. It was just kind of an update yesterday. And then we've got the pro-life Pikachu. Anyway, I got into a conversation with them and two others. Let me see, who was that one with? It was between me, Matt Walsh, and this pro-life Pikachu. And anyway, I'm not going to delve into all that one either because, why? Why? Exactly. Why? I'm just trying to stick a needle in everything and see how many people actually respond back. See if I can stir up the pot and, shake the nest a little bit and get the bees all riled up in there. The worker bees going. That's my modus operandi. Y'all didn't know that? Oh, come on. Okay. Gunther, you're still on the top of my page. All right, go away. Let's see if I can refresh that page and get something else up there. Maybe, maybe not. Oh. American Principles. Here we go, folks. Let's check out American Principles. Are you ready? Let's read what they have to say. This is another one. Obviously, I follow them too. And obviously, they're talking about American principles that are their definition of what America should look like and excluding anyone who doesn't look like, sound like, talk like, bleed like them, literally. But I find this to be fascinating. Anyway, transgender industry is making billions off of convincing people they can change their gender. The fact is, nobody's trying to change their gender, folks. They're just trying to actually let their gender be like they perceive it to be. Period. That's not changing your gender. And here's the thing, though. Anytime you get into a conversation with these people about stuff like this, I always say, look, I fully acknowledge that on a superficial macro level, my genetic sex is XY, male. I've got no problem with that. That's a macro level understanding, though. That's like going back to 1950 and saying, you're just an XY male. Yeah, well, that's what you knew then, but we know differently now. But we're just going to leave it at that because on a macro scale, that's what it still looks like, XY. All right, fine, no problem. But gender is not genetic sex. Gender is an entirely different concept, but for most people, the two are indistinguishable. Gender and biological sex are indistinguishable with each other. But that is not true for about 0.6 to 0.7% of any population in time throughout history or any culture today. That's not true. It's not as indistinguishable between one and the other. There's some variance there. And people who, see this and know that, they understand that their gender is something that they can control and express as they see fit for themselves and not for anybody else. They don't have to perform their gender just so that it matches what these authoritarian, theocratic fascists want. And that's American Principles is trying to do that. It's one of those organizations that's Christian fascism. There, it said. Transgenderism and consumerism naturally go hand in hand because transgenderism, the notion that one can pick their gender, like a glittering new fragrance from the shelf, is the ultimate form of consumerism. Oh my God, y'all are just so stupid. Whoever wrote that needs to really just get a grip on life, because you are screwed up, son or daughter or whomever, whatever your gender is. American Principles Project. Oh my God, I'm going to have to follow that one down into it. And what am I going to say about this, y'all? Let's go right here and say, you all are full of crap. Crap. Let me see if that tells me. No, I'm going to leave it as y'all because I want them to understand. Y'all are full of crap. None of us deny our genetic sex. Deny our genetic sex. We know. See, we know that on a macro level, let me see our macro level, and on a macro level, you can see how fast I can type, right? Yeah, no, not well at all. I have to look at the keys and every darn thing else. So just bear with me as I type this thought out. That actually gives me an opportunity to make any corrections to it. Y'all are full of crap. None of us deny our genetic sex. We know that on a macro level, genetic sex is set except for some variations. I could actually tell it exactly like this: genetic and epigenetic variations. Epigenetic variations. Gender, though, let me see. For most people, I'm going to just say this: for most, gender and G-sex, I'm just calling G-sex to save space. G-sex are indistinguishable. But that is not true for everyone. Okay. All right, there we go. So I'm just going to post that on there and then leave it at that and just see what happens, folks. Oh my gosh, you need to follow some of these things. And I do want one thing. I do want to say one thing at the end. Sorry for all the bouncing around with words and stuff like that. But I do want to say one thing. Tomorrow, Friday morning, and I think it's at, let me pull up this card. I've got this thing here somewhere. Downloads. And I've got, here we are. I think that's it. JPEG file. Nope, that is not it. Why is that not coming up? Heritage CEC. That's it, though, isn't it? Speech download one. No. Anyway, so let me just go over here and do it like this. I can find it on Twitter right where we are now. So are we still sharing screen, present, stop screen? Yeah, no. Let's go right here and let's go share screen. Let's just stop. Okay. We're still up on here. We're still up in this thing. All right. So let's go right here. I'm going to type in No, let's type in Kevin Roberts, not Levin, Kevin. At Kevin, and it'll populate up there for me, right there. So let's go there. No, I don't want it there. I want it over here. Kevin Roberts. All right, so we're going to go down here and take a look at Kevin Roberts' page. If you go down through here long enough, let me see, applaud the conservatives in the Senate for delinking Israel aid from Ukraine funding. No, it's hypocritical actually to do that. Yeah, both need to have funding, and both, we can do both. But just do them both. Oh my God. Anyway, religious liberty. I'm going to go on down. Let me see. Oh, wait. I want to say something about this before I jump down to the next thing. Heritage Foundation President, anti-Semitism is not even human. It's evil. While the ideology itself definitely is an evil thing, the people who compose it, though, are not. They are human. They are human beings just like you and I, Dr. Roberts. Yes, the ideology is horrible and disgusting and evil and all of that. I agree with that part. But it actually, anti-Semitism is a human ideology. And I mean, anyway, poor choice of words there, Dr. Roberts. So I'm going to go on down. I'm looking for one thing in particular. This right there. Tomorrow, it's at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, which is 8:30 my time here in Lower Alabama. I am going to be there. I actually signed up for this, and I want to be there for this I want to know what they're saying, because this is from Project 2025. This is the Mandate for Leadership series, episode 1. And who's their guest? Their very first guest? Governor Ron DeSantis. So we need to go there, sign up for this, and be a part of that, and go listen in. I don't know if you'll be able to comment, and I'm not suggesting we overload the system or anything like that, but what I'm saying is, go sign up for the program. You can click on it. I think it takes you somewhere. No, it does not. I may have to go with, let's go with Heritage Foundation up here at the top. And we're going to go to heritage.org. Click on that side. Is that the right side? Yes. Okay. So we're going to Mandate for Leadership series right there. That's the first one. Mandate for Leadership. Learn more upcoming events. Right here. Go down this page. I think it's still showing. Yes. Go down this page, and sign up if it's down there. No, it's not. Anyway, so learn more. Click on the Learn More button, and here you can register. All right, go to this page, heritage.org events tab, that events tab right there. Go ahead and register. They'll send you an email back, and then letting you know first, obviously letting you know that you registered and they appreciate you registering. And then they'll send back information that tells you how to access the program. But it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I just want everybody to know that. You can go check it out, because 9:30 is 8:30 Eastern time here or 8:30 Central time where I am, obviously tomorrow morning. Go check it out, because we need to be in there in force. They need to know that we are actually present and we're not running and hiding, that we are going to stand in their face and be real and take it to them. Because yes, they are Goliath. I mean, with $22 million just for Project 2025, this Mandate for Leadership stuff, $22 million put aside to handle that, to actually promote it, to take care of it, do the training, do all the programs, do the vetting and the testing and preparation to take over if a conservative wins and becomes president on January the 20th of 2025. But it takes a lot of money to do stuff like that. And they've got $22 million set aside to do it. But if they run out of funds, I mean, Heritage at the beginning of the year started out with $265 million in the kitty. So they are Goliath. And they've been around a long time doing this kind of thing. And this one is one of the most well thought out strategic plans for implementing their conservative views. It's actually not conservative views. They don't have the kahunas to actually say what it actually is. It's authoritarian theocratic fascism, because they tick off all the check boxes for all of those. But that's really what it is. But, they want to do that because, they don't want to be labeled over there. Anyway, it's yeah, really weakness. Seriously. So join with me tomorrow as we tune in and watch this to see what's going on at Heritage Foundation, the Mandate for Leadership Series, episode number 1. Go register. Go back over to the other page over there and register on this. Go to heritage.org/event, or you can just go to heritage.org and click on the events tab. It will take you here too, but you'll find the link. Register for it. Here's all they ask for. Your first name. These are the 3 things that are crucial. Okay. The first name, your last name, and email address. If you don't fill those things in, you won't be able to complete the registration. You got to do that. And don't be like a bunch of them over there on Twitter or a bunch of them over there on Discus when they're commenting on something over there. They all use these fake names and fake avatars to define who they are because they don't have the guts to actually tell you who they really are. And that's what it amounts to, is they don't have the guts to be real. But guess who does? We do. We do for sure. We're not hiding behind something fake. Not hiding behind a fake or an avatar either. I mean, what you see is what you get for me. But anyway, so I did this thing yesterday. I actually went through and did all of that, got the email back, and I'm looking forward to participating in some capacity tomorrow morning or whatever. Let me see if it's still up here where I can see it. No, not on that one. It's on the other link. Hold on a second. Other page. Bum, 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 bum. Not Alexander. Heritage event. See right there, I signed up for it. And this is the acknowledgement. Added to the calendar. I did all that. Please click here to watch the live stream on Friday, October 27th. And it's still got 9. It's ET right there. It's 9:30. So it's 8:30 my time, folks. 9:30 Eastern. But go register, get this email, and then put it on your calendar and join me tomorrow morning in your time zone. 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific. It'll be recorded as well. You can watch it later, but I want to get in on the live part. This is a live stream from their auditorium in DC, the Heritage Foundation's auditorium. So anyway, come on, join me tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. And with that, let me go back over to my StreamYard page here, right there. I want to stop sharing and go back to this. Thank you so much for watching today. If you had the opportunity to jump in and give a comment or whatever, I would appreciate that as well. But make sure you invite your friends the next time around. I'll be doing it again this evening at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Come in for another hour of updates in the news, talking about whatever we want to talk about, and commentary on all kinds of things. All right. Come join me. Love to have you with us.